Now, when we think about physics and geometry as we know it, we think about the shortest distance between 2 points being a straight line. Now, here's the thing. With quantum physics, we can decrease that length by bending the space-time continuum. Mind blown? It's all about this.
Whoa! Don't get into it yet. We're going to explain it in the video. Welcome back to another episode. I'm Rob.
And I'm Ruben.
And we are going to be talking about
quantum selling.
Boom! Mind blown. So we're going to get right into this. So let's start with what is quantum selling. You're dealing with a number of things here, but most importantly, you're dealing with the cloning of particles. You're dealing with omnichannel. You're dealing with neuro engagement. We're going to be talking about a lot of other things in this video that we're going to take from the universe and put into the sales game. So let's start right away with it.
Now, here's why quantum selling is so powerful. Because if you take content like particles and you take channels like omnichannel, you fire up neuro engagement, which means people, your buyers, are thinking about how they can buy your stuff. The key here is scale and impact.
So what we want to talk about first is content particles. And those are all the different touch points that you're going to have to go through out there to reach your audience.
Now, a lot of people say that content is king, but I beg to differ. I actually think that context is king. And this just means that all the various touch points and content that you have out there in the ether need to work together as a holistic cause, as a movement, as your brand. Now, the key to quantum selling is taking your sales cycle and decreasing it while increasing your conversion rates, and that is bending your sales space-time continuum.
Science.
The thing that you want to think about here is the volume. It's the scale. The definition of scale is increasing the number of outputs without increasing the number of inputs. Growth, on the other hand, is increasing both. So the key here is scale.
So what you're saying is we can grow without hiring 1,000 sales reps.
That's quantum.
Ooh, that's nice.
The way to do this is providing value in your touch points. And those are your content particles. The most beautiful thing about this is that they're ever expanding. Because after all, every single piece of content that you have out there is effectively a clone. It's a clone of you and your brand and ways to connect to your ideal audience.
And these content particles become power particles once you apply this. So bringing this part home about content particles to all the sales leaders out there is that you want to have the volume, right? You've got to have the audience. They're all out there, big volume. What's the next thing you need? Well, you've got to have the substance that this volume wants, right? Your product or service. The last thing you want to have, and this is lasting, hopefully, with what your process is, impact. You want to have impact. Next is going to be omnichannel distribution.
Now, you've probably heard the idea of being omnichannel. In fact, it's somewhat of a cliche. The key here is to be ever present in any channel that your audience is already present in. Think about the information that you're conveying as light. You need to project your light in as many ways as possible. These can be reflections, these can be refractions, these can be direct hits. The key is to get connected between you and your buyers. So is this starting to make sense? Isn't it attractive to bend the space-time continuum?
It's beyond attractive,
Yeah.
but let's bring this back down to earth.
So in science speak, you need more particles out there.
And in sales speak, that means more content out there.
And the next is to have more gravitational force.
And what that means is more impact.
And the next is more neuro engagement.
And what that means is more conversions. Neuro engagement sounds like a black hole, but it's not a black hole, is it? What is neuro engagement? You're a big fan of neuro engagement, so let's dive into this. What is it?
Just think about this for a second. The brain is like a universe in and of itself. There are billions of neurons that are firing within our brains. And that is how our buyers are making decisions to potentially buy from us. So anytime you're putting a touch point out there, you need to figure out how is that affecting the neurons within your customer's mind.
So what's essentially happening here is there is a burning in of your brand.
That's right. Your customers are thinking about their problems, their hopes, their fears, their desires, and figuring out if your offering and your message and your content fits within their goals. But here is the reality. We cannot force decisions upon people's minds. Neurons are firing autonomically.
All right, Ruben, you've got an example of this, right?
Okay, so here it is. Rob, do not think about an elephant. Don't think about an elephant. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Too late.
You thought about an elephant, right? That's the way that neurons work. That's the way that people's brains work. We cannot force ideas upon them. They need to make them by themselves. And that is the difference of improving your selling versus improving the buying that's already taking place.
Neurons! Because as we all know, neurons that fire together refer together.
And that is everything. That's neuroplasticity. And that is the key unlock into this. That if we set a goal and if we project ourselves towards that goal, we can ultimately move our universe in our favor. And that is quantum selling.
Whoa, quantum selling. Now here is a recap of the benefits of quantum selling.
More content on more channels gives you more customers, and ultimately it gives you these benefits.
So here are the benefits of quantum selling. You're going to get decreased sales cycles, increased conversions, and maximized referrals. So let's bring this home for all the salespeople out there. Number one, quantum selling, what it's going to do for you is you have to have the end in mind. That's one of the most important points of quantum selling. Get the end in mind.
What is ultimately your goal? Is it to get a promotion for yourself, to expand into a new market, potentially to get acquired? If we think about where we're going, we can expand to get there.
And you want to maximize your touch points, something we've mentioned throughout this video. Maximize the touch points because we all know when you do that, neurons buy. And what quantum selling does is it maximizes touch points.
Think about this. The digital channels are already out there. It's about getting your voice to the place that your ideal audience already exists in and making that connection, because ultimately that'll get them to buy.
Because we all know neurons are the ones that make the decision to buy.
This video was a little bit mind expanding, but we were always about providing knowledge so that you can increase your sales and marketing. If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a like and sharing it with a quantum friend.
Go forth into the universe.
May the force be with you and also your parallel twin.
But with quantum physics, we can. But with quantum physics, we can. Hey, you don't keep your line. Just hold off and do it. Okay, square it up. But with quantum physics, we can decrease the distance. But with quantum physics, we can decrease the system.
I'm killing
Bloopers.
this. No, I'm killing this.
Sorry.
All right, so.